Diapering is like a never-ending subscription you can't cancel. It drains your wallet, piles up waste. I tried going all in on cloth diapers, but it wasn't always practical. Switching back to disposables felt like tossing the planet into the diaper bin. So I figured out how to use both strategically, balancing convenience, cost, and sustainability. And something unexpected happened. I actually stopped dreading diaper changes. And now I'm going to help you do the same. When to use cloth versus disposable. I'm Caro, and this is Raised by Intuition, helping you navigate parenting with research, instinct, and zero guilt. Diapering comes with tons of choices, none of them perfect. Disposable diapers, they're convenient, absorb a ton, and are easy to toss and forget. But they add up fast, cost a small fortune over time, and create a whole lot of waste. Cloth diapers, they're reusable, better for the planet, can save you money in the long run. But they come with extra laundry, a learning curve, and the occasional surprise puddle if they're not fitted just right. And here's the interesting thing. What one type lacks, the other one makes up for. But most people stick to just one or the other because juggling both feels like trying to pack a suitcase for a week-long trip with just one carry-on. You know it's possible, but it takes way too much brain power. That's why you need a simple system that makes the choice easy. Instead of debating it every time you change a diaper, I figure out exactly when to use cloth and when disposables makes more sense. So you don't have to think about it. Let's break it down. Viewer stage, disposables. When your baby first arrives, there's already so much to figure out. So let's make one decision easy. Start with disposables. I actually run the numbers when I was pregnant. The cloth diapers I had inherited didn't fit newborns, so I considered buying a set just for that stage. But after realizing how briefly we'd used them, it just didn't make sense financially. Then my baby actually arrived prematurely. So even if I had bought those newborn-sized cloth diapers, they wouldn't have fit him anyways. So I was relieved I didn't have to think about extra laundry while figuring out everything else. Daytime at home, cloth. Once my son finally fit into the cloth diapers I had, we started using them at home during the day. To make it fun, I'd hold up 2 diaper prints, and the one he stared at the longest would be the pick. Now that he's older, he announces his selection like a tiny fashion critic. Some days, it's the lemons. Other days, he's feeling the dinosaur vibes. But beyond the cuteness, it's been a great way for him to feel involved in what goes on in his body. Other unexpected perks, cloth diapers act like little cushions. Once my son started rolling, sitting, and eventually walking, they soften his falls. And they're gentle on sensitive skin too, since they don't have the same chemicals as disposables. Nighttime and travel, disposables. A full night's sleep, it's priceless, right? Unless there's poop involved, good disposable should last all night. Less waking up, fewer pajama and sheet changes, and more precious sleep for everyone. Same goes for travel. When we're on the go, I don't want to carry around a wet bag full of used cloth diapers or stress about finding a place to rinse them. My setup at home works because I have a process. On the road, that process is hard to replicate. So disposable, it is. Iffy days, dealer's choice. When I'm sick or just feeling overwhelmed, I stick to whatever makes life easier. Some days, that's fun because the routine feels grounding. Other days, it's just disposables because I just need one less poop to deal with on my plate. The key here, do what feels right in the moment without guilt. Weekends, it's a mix. We are usually out and about more, so we rely on disposables when we're away from home. That naturally means fewer cloth diaper changes and no diaper laundry on the weekend, which is a win in my book. But diapering doesn't have to be all or nothing. The trick is using both types to your advantage, saving dollars, reducing waste, and making life easier. And speaking of saving money, let's break down some simple ways to cut diaper costs without sacrificing convenience. Diapers are non-negotiable. You can't just skip them. But when I was pregnant and did the math, it felt like flushing money down the toilet. A year of disposables, around $900. A cloth diaper stash starts at $150. That's money we could be spending on fun baby activities like swimming classes or literally any other experience that doesn't get pooped on. Then I became a mom and realized it's even worse than I thought. This is all by design. Diaper companies want to keep you spending. Cloth brands push for starter packs full of stuff you don't really need, like liners and fancy wet bags. Disposable brands? They engineer thinner diapers, so you have to change them more often. And as your kid grows, the price magically goes up. But we don't have to play their game. Let's talk about how to actually save money. Whether you're using cloth, disposables, or both. Going hybrid? You don't need to hoard cloth diapers like there's a global shortage. 12 to 15 is plenty if you're mixing them with disposables and are okay washing every day or so. Buying 30 plus cloth diapers up front is like stocking your fridge with 10 gallons of milk when you're not even sure you like milk. The biggest money-saving hack with cloth is buying secondhand or getting hand-me-downs. Unlike disposables, cloth diapers don't expire, and they're easy to sanitize. A bonus, you can even resell them when you're done. Imagine getting paid to stop changing diapers. What a dream! And if you prefer brand new for either kind, buy a few to test the waters first. If they work, great. If not, you just didn't drop a fortune on something that is not comfortable for you or your baby. And now focusing just on disposables. The bigger the disposable diaper, the bigger the price tag. And at some point, you'll start seeing fancy overnight diapers that cost even more. But here's the trick. Instead of buying pricey overnight diapers, try sizing up in regular ones. If they fit well, they'll hold more and prevent leaks without the overnight price tag. It's like how the family size cereal box is way bigger, but somehow costs just a tiny bit more than the regular one. Saving money is great, but it is also important to consider the impact of all of these diapers on the planet. So let's talk about how to be more sustainable even with disposables. Here's the painful truth. There is no net zero waste solution when it comes to diapers. Whether you're using cloth or disposable, there's always an environmental trade-off. Disposables, they pile up in landfills. Cloth, they require energy, water, and detergent to wash. Plus, that wastewater has to go somewhere. So while cloth is the more eco-friendly option, it's not completely impact-free. But if you're using disposables, that doesn't mean you can't make more sustainable choices. And no, I don't mean reusing them. Let's not get that extreme. The key is picking brands that consider sustainability. Some focus on biodegradable or compostable materials, meaning they break down faster in landfills. Others prioritize renewable energy in production or use recycled materials. So even if the diaper itself isn't compostable, at least its production was more responsible. I researched all options available in my area and landed on a Teen, which was the most sustainable brand I could find. But 8 months later, when my baby started leaking through them and sizing up didn't work, I had to switch to Bunbo. Not quite sustainable, to be honest, but still better than most brands. Because here's the thing. If a diaper isn't absorbent enough and you're having to change it twice as often, you're actually creating more waste, not less. If you're finding this video insightful, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. I made videos to help parents cut through the noise, make informed decisions, and most importantly, stress less. And getting back to our topic, beyond just diapers, wet wipes are another easy place to reduce waste. Whether you're using cloth or disposables, switching to small washcloths instead of single-use wipes is a simple way to cut down trash. They just get tossed in the wash along with everything else. But sustainability is just one piece of the puzzle, because even the best diaper choice won't help if using it feels like a daily battle. And if you don't get this next part right, diapering can become way more frustrating than it needs to be. How to make cloth diapers work without the usual struggles. Cloth diapering can feel like a secret society with way too many rules. Between washing, leaks, and making sure your toddler doesn't rip their diaper off like a tiny wrestler, there's a lot to figure out. And that learning curve, it's real. But here's the thing. Once you get past the initial confusion, cloth diapers can be just as easy as disposables. with a few extra perks. The key is simplifying the process so it actually works for your life. Let's tackle the 3 biggest struggles that make cloth diapering hard. Picking the right cloth diapers. With so many brands out there, it can feel overwhelming. So let's break it down by type first, Velcro versus 100% snaps. Velcro, like this Bambino Mio, is faster when your baby's tiny and you're changing like 500 diapers a day. Snaps, like this Baby Goal, take longer to fasten, but when your toddler decides naked time is the lifestyle, they can't rip them off. Pockets and all-in-ones. Pockets like this Kuwait Baby or other brands like Mama Koala, Charlie Banana, or even this Alba Baby lets you customize absorbency, but stuffing them is a little extra work. All-in-ones like this Bambino Mio are as easy as disposables, but can get bulky on the inside and take a little longer to dry. And I mentioned a lot of brand names, so to make things easier, I'll link below to the ones I've personally tried and really like. So in terms of types, it's a personal preference. For me, I prefer Velcro because it's just easier. And I also prefer pockets because you can adjust the absorbency as needed. But honestly, any of them work once you have the right washing routine. The key to making cloth diapers easy, keep the washing process simple and consistent and deal with the diaper right away. So here's the breakdown for the wash. Number 1, you rinse off the mess right after change. If there's poop, I would totally recommend a toilet sprayer and a splash guard. Trust me, they're worth it. If it's just pee, you can skip this. Number 2, you store in a dry pail or wet bag. The latter should be right next to where you rinse. Number 3, you place this dirty stuff in the washing machine with regular detergent. No fancy products needed. Number 4, line dry them when possible. The reason why you'll want them outside? The sun is like nature's bleed, and it helps your diapers last longer than in the dryer. Now, my sister had a clever trick to make daily washing easier. She tossed the diapers in at night in the washer, set the delay timer, and by morning, they'd be just freshly washed and ready to line dry with the sun already up. For her, that routine was seamless. For me, washing every night feels like too much. So I let them collect for 2 or 3 days before running a load. As long as you have the right storage setup, it still works perfectly. The key isn't washing every day or following one specific routine. It's having a process that fits into your life. When it's predictable and easy to stick to, cloth diapering stops feeling like extra work and just becomes part of the flow. But even the best wash routine only works if the mess actually stays inside the diaper. And here's where most people run into trouble. Leaks. The truth is, leaks aren't a cloth diaper problem, as many think. They're a fit problem. Most parents assume that cloth doesn't work and give up on it entirely. So how do you make sure your baby stays dry and you don't end up with extra laundry? Let's break it down. You want to adjust the fit as your baby grows. You want to keep it snug around the legs and waist because really gaps equals leaks. If you're using secondhand diapers, you gotta check the elastic. If it's loose and saggy, it's time to let them go. Also, double up on inserts for heavy wetters. Some babies just pee a lot, so extra absorbency helps. And then you want to change more often. Cloth doesn't have the same gel beads as disposables, so a good rule of thumb is to put on a clean one before and after naps, and during natural transitions, and obviously when they're pooped. Once you figure out the right fit and routine, cloth diapers just become part of the flow. No stress, no mess. Okay, less mess, but no overthinking. At the end of the day, the best diaper system is the one that keeps your baby dry and your sanity intact. Maybe that means starting small with cloth at home, using disposables for nights and outings, or sticking to disposables, but choosing a more sustainable brand. There's no one-size-fits-all solution, and that's okay, because diapering already comes with poop. Let's not add guilt to the mix. And now you have everything you need to make diapering work in a way that's simple, stress-free, and aligned with what matters to you. And if you want even more low-waste parenting tips that actually make life easier, check out my next video. It's about making small, intentional choices that add up.